Hello dear student, in Unit 1 Lesson 2 I'm going to talk about full relative clause. Let's see what is the relative clause. First of all we have the use. We use relative pronouns to introduce relative clauses which tell us more about people and things. It means that it gives us information about people or things. We use who or that for talking about someone's name. For example, a human. Who and that is used for talk about someone's name like a human. We can only use instead of single pronouns like he, she, they. So we can use who or that instead of single pronouns like he or she or they or the other subjects. We use which or that for talking about animals' name or things. We can only use instead of single pronouns like they and it. So we have two relatives pronouns. First of all, we have who and which. Who is used for talking about someone's name, like human, or also instead of single pronoun like he, she, or they. But which is used for talking about animals' name or things, and instead of single pronouns like they or it. We have a form for that. We have subject or a name at the beginning plus who, which, or that according to the name. It is human being or an animal or a thing. After that we have verb, object, and the rest of the first sentence. Okay, this one, the subject of the first sentence, and verb and object of the second sentence, and also the rest of the sentence for the first sentence. So we can use the first sentence is subject, and second sentence is verb and object, and also the rest of the first sentence we can use as a complement. For example, the people speak French, they live in France. So it's asked to use who. So if you use this form, the sentence will be like that. The people who or that live in France speak French. As you see, the people, the subject of the first sentence, we use it. And after that we have who. Why we use who? Because it is people, it's human being. And after that we use the verb and object of the second sentence. As you see, the verb of the second sentence is live and the object is in France. Okay, the people who live in France, also we use the rest of the first sentence as a complement, which is speak French. So it became the people who or that live in France speak French. Okay, this is the second sentence, and also it is the rest of the first sentence. Okay, another example. The poet is interesting. It is written in English. It says we have to use which. So we use the subject of the first sentence, which is the poet, and we use which because it's a thing, and the verb and object of the second sentence, which is written. The verb is written and the object is in English, and the rest of the first sentence, which is interesting. So the sentence became the poet, which or that is written in English is interesting. Okay, this is, as I said, this is the second sentence, and this one is the rest of the first sentence. The students are making good progress. They are learning English. So it says we have to use who. Okay, the sentence became like that. The subject of the first sentence, which is the students, we use who because it is human being or people, and the verb of the second sentence, which is are learning. The object of the second sentence, which is English, as you see, it is red, and it is red, green by green. We have blue and also the yellow one. And also the rest of the sentence is making good progress. So it became the students who are learning English, making good progresses. This one, as I said, second sentence, and this one is the rest of the first sentence. Object at the end. Okay. So now we can use object at the end. If it is at the end of our sentence, we have subject plus verb plus complement. Okay, after that we have who, which, or that, and the second sentence without subject. So be aware, second sentence without subject. For example, this one is the first sentence, subject plus verb plus complement, and this one is verb plus complement. So we can just take the verb and complement without subject. We will just take verb and complement without subject. Let's see. They used a computer. It made in 2004. They used a computer. It made in 2004. So the sentence became like that. They used a computer, okay, which or that made in 2004. As you see, we have they of the first sentence, they. We have verb, which is used, and a complement, which is a computer. And we use which, why? Because a computer is a thing. And after that, we use verb and complement without the subject. The subject of the second sentence, which is it, we remove it. So it became made in 2004. Made in 2004. Okay? They use a computer, which or that made in 2004. This one the first sentence, and this one is the second sentence. Another example, they were used by Bill. He had earlier invented the telephone. He had earlier invented the telephone. So the sentence became what? Like that. They were used by Bill, so we can say we will rewrite the first sentence as itself without any change. Who and that. Why we use who? Because a Bill is a name of the person, and invented the telephone, which is the second sentence, without the subject, which is he had earlier. So this one is the first sentence, they were used by Bill, and this one is the second sentence without the subject of the second sentence. Now we have the summary of the full relative clause. Let's see. Relative clauses are clauses starting with the relative pronouns who, that, or which. They are most often used to define or identify the noun that precedes them. So, for example, the house was for sale. It was built in 1961. So it became what? The house which is or that built in 1961 was for sale.